Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I'm working today and taking a little bit of a break here, and I've been seeing a lot of videos in the last few days pop up on my feed about different ideas to stay warm in your house if it's cold, and you don't have either electricity or gas or whatever. And I imagine it's because of everything that's going on in Europe. They're afraid that the gas is going to get completely shut off. And of course, over here in the United States, it's the price of everything going up. And where we are here out in the rural areas, if you live in town, you pretty much got natural gas. If you live out in the country and you don't heat with wood, it's pretty much propane. And well, I don't know if some of those other things that they show in those other videos, like the clay pot, tea light thing, I don't know if that stuff works or not. But when I was growing up, I had to kind of figure out how to stay warm in my bedroom. And I'll tell you a little bit about the old farmhouse that I grew up in. The old farmhouse that I grew up in, my bedroom was upstairs. There was no heat in it, and it had one window in it. It was just a wood-framed, single-pane glass window that faced north. So you can imagine how cold it was in that room in the middle of winter. And there were some cold air return registers and stuff that would be like open from the heat downstairs that would maybe rise up there, raise the temperature a little bit, but it certainly was not warm. And the house I grew up in had a old coal furnace at first, but then later it had a vented propane space heater, and it had a wood stove in the kitchen. That's how we stayed warm. And that is what I remember. Well, pretty much everybody would hang out in the kitchen until it was time to go to bed, around the wood stove, of course. But when it was time to go to bed, you crawled up stairs and you went to bed with whatever you had. And the one thing that I always had in my bedroom growing up is there was always a table in there where I could do my homework on or whatever, but there was always an oil lamp sitting on that table. And that oil lamp, I would light that before I would go to bed, and that oil lamp would give off enough heat where you wouldn't see your breath when you woke up in the morning. Now, I'm here to tell you, if that oil lamp wasn't lit, it would be probably 28 degrees, maybe 29 degrees, right around freezing in that bedroom in the morning when I would wake up, unless I had that oil lamp lit. If that oil lamp was lit, the bedroom was usually in the 40s. And I'm here to tell you, 40s sounds like it's cold, but I'm here to tell you there's a big difference between 28, 29 degrees and 40, 45 degrees in a bedroom when you're waking up in the morning. That was one of the ways that I used to stay warm. And the other thing is when I was about 14 and I was old enough to start working and making a little money on my own, one of the first things I did when I had a little bit of cash is I said to my mom, "Hey, will you drive me to the city? I want to buy myself a sleeping bag." And I wanted that sleeping bag not for camping, but I wanted that sleeping bag for in my bedroom so I was warmer when I would sleep at night. And the sleeping bag that I bought was a Coleman flannel sleeping bag that had the hollow fill insulation in it, and it was rated for 0. Now, a flannel sleeping bag for actually out camping and hiking and stuff, they're flannel on the inside and they're canvas on the outside. And a flannel sleeping bag for hiking and camping pretty much sucks because it'll attract moisture. The canvas will attract moisture. They're heavy to carry. They pretty much just suck for kind of outdoor activity. But inside a building that's cold, there is nothing better than a flannel sleeping bag zipped open like a blanket and used on a bed. That is 10 times warmer than any commercial blanket that you're just going to buy off the shelf at like a big box store or anything. And I wanted that blanket to stay warm. And also the old timers, they had what they called feather ticks. And what a feather tick was, it was a basically a pillow that was the size of a blanket that was stuffed with down, was stuffed with feathers. And I was allergic to feathers, so me sleeping with a feather tick, man, that was miserable. I had to choose between freezing or not being able to breathe. So it was a hell of a situation, and that's another reason why I wanted one of these sleeping bags. And another thing about sleeping bags is if you have a rectangle sleeping bag, you can take two of them, you can unzip them, and then you can zip them together to either make a larger sleeping bag for two people, and that way you can kind of increase the space you have, so you got more space in there to stay warm. But a rectangular sleeping bag unzipped and thrown on a bed is a heck of a lot warmer than pretty much any blanket that you're going to buy. So if I knew something was going to happen where I would have to stay warm inside my house, and I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't have a lot of stuff, I would want an oil lamp, I would want lamp oil, and I would want a couple of good rectangular sleeping bags that I could unzip, that I could curl up and I could sleep in them on top of my regular, with my regular clothes or whatever, because they're just infinitely warmer. But like I said, a flannel canvas sleeping bag out camping and out doing stuff outside, they suck for that. But inside a building, they're great. And another thing about kerosene and oil lamps and stuff, sometimes there are different grades of kerosene. When I was growing up, the co-op would always have kerosene that was like #1 kerosene. It was crystal clear, and that is the kerosene. If you can't find lamp oil, that kerosene that's crystal clear, that is the best stuff for putting inside an oil lamp next to actual lamp oil. And there's different, I've seen kerosene so bad already that it was almost like yellow. It had like a yellow tint to it. That's the stuff you don't want to put in your oil lamps. And I know they got some kerosenes that got dyes and stuff in too for different things, but you want the crystal clear stuff if you're going to run it in an oil lamp. But anyway, these are just some things I was thinking about here because I've been seeing these videos and whatnot. And if there's anybody that would have any something might happen this winter where they might be stuck in a cold building, I wanted this kind of to be out there so people knew that and could kind of benefit from my experiences. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get some information, some entertainment out of my video. As always, just wanting to share here what I know to help everybody out. Anyway, you guys have a good one.